Well, if you celebrate, Merry Christmas.
Exactly. Merry Christmas. It's amazing we're at this time of year already. I feel like 2025 was just this like fast forward of 92 million things happening all at once. That's what it felt like for me anyway. I just can't believe we're here.
Someone said something once that when you're a kid, right? It's like the summer feels like what now feels like a half a decade, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And what they said is they're like, yeah, but look at it proportionately to your age. When you're 10 years old, a year is 10% of your life,
It's very true. It's very true.
right?
Ah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, because I'm 48. It's 1/48. It's almost insignificant in some ways.
Right. It's
That's
interesting.
a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, it made me feel a little bit better about, okay, these years go quicker as I get older. Well, yeah, they're supposed to because it's a smaller percentage of your overall experience.
Exactly. Wow, but it's been such a fast year. It's been a good year. Um, Lot of transformation, lot of transition.
I don't know. I would go the opposite. This has not been a good year for me.
Yeah,
This has
you keep
been
saying that.
it's been the most confusing year of my recent life, meaning like
Mhm.
probably in the last definitely in the last decade. This has been the most confusing year of my life in the last decade. It's been the most unsure, like I'm not standing on stable ground ever.
Mhm.
It's been very exciting and very frustrating simultaneously. So kind of roller coaster of energy and emotions. Um, it's been it's been more important to me than other times because I do understand for myself. I'm putting myself in the next chapter of my life.
Yep.
So it's that, whatever we have worked on over the past few years, this last year is like, okay, the cement is hardening and like this is what I'm going to carry with me for
Mhm.
probably the next decade.
Yep.
And so like exploring is over and now the hard work comes. And knowing that in the back of your mind, like, wow, these decisions that you make are really going to dictate how you live your life into your 50s.
Mhm.
And that's not a good thing. It's a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to feel.
Right.
So it's
Well,
been
I
difficult.
think it was all necessary, right? I think that was the thing, like you just said, the exploration is done and the hard work now continues, but we build on the foundation that we have set up for ourselves. I mean, I feel like this year has been a big year of learning so many different things for me. And when can say I come out of a year learning a lot more than I learned last year, that for me is how I kind of measure what a good year is. Is it something that what I'm taking away all of this stuff, and there's so many possibilities and so many opportunities now in front of us. And I like that the exploration is done in many ways because I feel like we are now laser focused on really two things in our business. I mean, it's building the networking and speaking to more people in person, getting into more rooms, and then it's coaching as many of those people as up to our 28 that we keep saying we're headed for. And I think that's so laser focused. I think it's the most laser focused we've ever been, and I feel confident in what next year brings with that laser focus, but it's come out of tremendous exploration that we were able to get here. So I think this year has been a huge learning for me, but just not just there, not just in business, but in my personal life, especially with my son. Like, I have learned so much about the college recruitment process for baseball, like, more than I ever thought. It was more exhausting than I ever thought. It was more challenging than I ever it's still very challenging. We're still very much in the heat of it, but at this point last year, I said I have about 18 more months, to really figure this out, and we only have 6 to 8 months left of that, and, it's like, "Holy shit, where did the time go?" And I figured all of that out, and he's 18 months away from walking into college, you know? It's crazy. It's just incredible to see that that's gonna happen so soon. So another big transition. I just feel like with him being older, I'm going through a lot more stuff than I've ever thought of in the past when it came to my kids and it came to my own life. I mean, he's going to college. My daughter's 3 years behind him, 2 years behind him, and it's like, okay, that's right around the corner, it's gonna be an empty nest in my house. And it's like, I
Do
remember
you believe
being
it's gonna be
young.
an empty nest? Like, so and I know people get that when the nest is actually empty, they get empty nest syndrome, and it's like, "Ah."
Right.
And then I know a lot of people get concerned about that's, pending. It's coming up right now.
Yeah.
But do you and your wife feel like have you already been like, "Oh, it's gonna be an empty nest," or is it just like a normal thing that people think about?
No, I think it's a normal thing that people think about. I mean, she and I are excited to have our space back in a lot of ways. I mean,
No,
obviously,
I
we're
mean, I'm sorry. I'm asking, do you believe that's gonna actually happen, or do you believe your kids are gonna live there until they're in their 30s?
No, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna
So you
happen.
haven't thought about it. Okay.
I haven't really thought further, like, who knows what's gonna happen with I don't know what my daughter's gonna wind up doing. She's figuring things out. My son, listen, the road could be minor leagues, the road could be architecture. I don't know. It's one or the other. And I would encourage my kids though to try to seek more of their independence before they're 25 like I did, because I think that worked very much for me. So I really don't want them in the house beyond 25. I really don't. I want them to be on their own, independent, learning their own stuff. Obviously, the world is very expensive, and it depends on what they wind up doing that will prevent them from doing that. But I want to encourage their independence and, you know, we're here when you need us kind of thing. So I think my wife and I both kind of feel that way. But who knows what's gonna happen? The future is just so interesting and it's exciting for me. Like, I'm excited about what's gonna happen over the next 6 months, what's gonna happen over the next 18 months, and what that all is gonna look like? So, I'm excited for that, and I've enjoyed this whole process. I was talking to dads at this camp this past weekend, and they're like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I wish this was over, but I wish it wasn't over because I've enjoyed it so much. So it's kind of like you want the result, but you don't. But you're also enjoying the process. And yeah, I mean that's where I'm at. It's just been an interesting year for me.
Mhm. Yeah, so a lot with Andrew. I got it.
Yeah, it's a lot with Andrew. A lot with Andrew, and it's other big milestones. My daughter starting high school, like that was big, and a lot of big milestones this year. So that's where I'm at.
Hmm.
Surgery, changed my whole body. Changed the way my body is working internally.
But it's
Um,
interesting you started it with, like, it's been a really good year, and then
yeah.
a lot of that conversation is, like, it's been I don't wanna say painful or stressful, but something in there, it's like it's unsettling.
Yeah, that's a good word. I mean, it's unsettling, but it's been a good unsettling. I'm not, like, worried about the future. I don't have that worry that I would typically have in this kind of a year. Like, the amount of changes that I've seen, the amount of learning that I've done, the amount of exploration that I've really looked at and more reflection, in my personal life, I think it's been a very positive year. I would not say that this was a negative year. It was a positive year.
Mm,
So, maybe good's not the best way to describe it. It's been positive. There's been a ton of progression. That's the word.
mm. Yeah, when I look at it, it's, we always talk about harmony,
Mhm.
right? And we say that there's no such thing as work-life balance, and not that there's no such thing of it as it, but it's I don't think it's a worthwhile pursuit to try to balance things out. Like, think of a scale, and I'm gonna put I put work on the scale, it went down. Now I gotta put some life home on the scale and even it
Right.
out constantly over and over again. And it's like looking at the other side of the scale and be like, oh my God, I wish I had that much over here and going back and forth. we've always looked at it as harmony. Is like there's a lot of different things at play all the time, and nothing has to get a specific amount at any one time or another. It's
Mhm.
like you want to utilize all of them. So a lot of the times when I see this, I see like a music room at a college or a high school that like all the instruments are lined up, right? They're all sitting there waiting for the musicians to come in and grab them. So that's how I see it. I see like the sheet music stands and chairs, and then like holders of instruments. I see like a saxophone and a clarinet and a violin and a bass, and I see all these instruments when I look at harmony, right?
Right.
And the way I've looked at this last year is all I've really had the opportunity to do is pick up the drumsticks. And all those other instruments are sitting there like, "Hey man, you gonna play me or what?"
Yeah.
Like what's going on? And they're just sitting there and it's like drums, 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 drums. And it's like, "Oh my gosh, are you ever gonna play the saxophone? Like,
Yeah.
sounds pretty good. You're pretty good at playing it. Why aren't you picking it up?" And that's how I felt this year is stuck playing the drums the whole year. And it's like I couldn't have picked a better instrument. It's just beating on it and beating on it and beating on it. It's like, oh my gosh, when's it
That's
gonna
such a
sound nice?
great analogy for how, because I would say I've been in the brass section the whole year. I just feel like the trumpets have been going. I feel like it's been very loud because there's been a lot of moving pieces. I've not had as many moments where the flutes are playing and the violins are really leading the melody. It's been more the brass section pounding away at like all the like the grind, right? Like I think I like how you're saying the drums. I would say mine is the brass section with drums, but it's been louder this year than it's been quieter and more mellow and more take it easy, and so maybe maybe that's part of what harmony is. It's going to have an ebb and flow in your life. Maybe that's what we're really seeking, is the ebb and flow of that harmony. Is you're never going to have the violins and the flutes and the brass all coming together, because that's hard to do in life. That's hard to bring all of them together. But I don't
But
think it's impossible.
it hasn't been hard for me, right?
Okay.
It's been well, let me rephrase that. It's hard in the fact that I had to really pay the attention to it, and then once I paid the attention to it, give the effort into it, give my energy to it. So it's that part is hard, but it's been very simple. I know all the instruments I have. I know how to play them, and I pick them up regularly to stay in practice.
Mhm.
And the course of this year, I have not done that. I have not, and so it's the opposite. This has been harder to stay extremely disciplined and focused on what the task at hand is this year and neglecting all the other things. We have a chapter of our book, Productive Neglect. Yes, is it productive? Sure. Productive neglect isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's a thing, right?
Right.
It's like, okay, this is a principle that's going to allow you to have success. It doesn't mean this is a principle that's going to allow you to have happiness or joy. It's success. That's what productive neglect is about. And the idea here is that while I have productively neglected all the other instruments, it starts to not feel really good, and
Mhm.
it's like, wow, there's a lot missing, and there's
Yep.
craving starts to happen. And the worst part about it for me has been as I start to reflect, which I haven't done every year. I write a big long thing about all the events and the times, when I'm starting to think about, okay, when I write that list every single year, what were the impactful moments of my year? That's what I do. And it started when I went many years ago. I went to on New Year's Eve. I went to a Jay-Z Coldplay concert in Brooklyn. Like, when do you ever get to see those two unbelievable artists play together on New Year's Eve? And my birthday happens to be New Year's Day, so it was my birthday present to myself. So I started it that year. Like at the end of that year, I was like, "How did I start this year? Holy shit!" I rang in the new year with Jay-Z and Coldplay, my best friend and my wife. Like, well, what a way! And then I started writing down each thing. What did I do? And I'm like, holy!
Yeah.
And I looked back, I'm like, damn, man, you had an incredible year. And I'm like, you should
Mhm.
do this every year. And I started doing that every year. So as I prepare to do that, I'm like, what am I going to write down? Now, I may find out as I'm thinking it through and looking through the pictures and going through the text messages, I may find out, okay, there was a lot more. I may also find out that I picked up another instrument I've never played before. I don't know, but there's an anxiety inside of me that I've I led an unfulfilled year compared to what my normal fulfilled year would look like.
Interesting. You know, I love that you reflect on that. I think that's something a lot of people should do is just reflect on the year and see everything that you've done. What instruments have you picked up? What experiences have you had? What have you learned from those experiences? And what do you want to do differently in the coming year? And that's what the whole point of this is. I mean, there's so much that I want to do differently. Um, in just I was it's funny. I was walking the dog this morning, and I was like, some things that gotta change, man. You gotta do some of these things differently. Like, I was talking to myself, trying to pep myself up for, like, "Okay, this has gotta be laser focused. There's no excuses. There's no, like, just do the thing. Be focused." Unfortunately, you have to be focused in 2 places, but you gotta focus, and when you're in each of those individual places, focus there. Keep your attention there. Like, I was literally having a pep talk with myself because I've been reflecting on this year and the progress and the successes and all the failures and I say that reflection is such an important part of gaining momentum for the next year. People would think reflection is a slowing down, but I always see reflection as the opportunity to pick up momentum again. Because when you look back and you see what you've accomplished, you see what you've done, it re-energizes you in a lot of ways. And that gives you the fuel to start the momentum again in going forward. So I think reflection is such an important part of the momentum process. But so many people don't take the time to do that. And I think you have to. Whether it's you should do a business reflection and you should do a personal life reflection. Look at the 2 things, and see the differences and see where maybe you're playing a set of instruments in one area and you're playing another set of instruments in another, and really try to bring those together. And if you see that, then you'll be able to have a little bit more harmony, hopefully next year, and be able to play more instruments and decide which ones you didn't pick up this year and how you could pick those up next year. What changes can you make to pick those instruments up and give you a little bit more variety? Because all those instruments together sound fucking beautiful. But if you're missing that variety and you're missing that opportunity for the variety, you're missing out on the best harmony that you could possibly create.
The interesting thing you said there is, did you pick up any new instruments and things like that? And that's interesting. And then here's the thing is, let's say you did pick up new instruments. Do you like the sound of them? Do you enjoy playing them? Or do you just happen to be good at them? Because you could
Mm.
be really good at playing an instrument, but you don't like the sound of it. You don't enjoy doing it. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. You
I mean,
know?
that's what led me to this, right? Is I was really good at playing an instrument, and I stopped liking the sound of it. It was, financial planning. I was amazing
Mhm.
at it, and it's just like, I don't like the sound anymore. I'm not enjoying playing it. So why am I gonna keep playing it? Like, what's the point of it? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And there's a lot of new. If I were to look now in this moment, there's a lot of new aspects of my daily activities that I've put in this year, but almost exclusively business wise.
Yeah.
You know, I usually give myself a project, and I gave myself a project this year, which was break a sweat every day. I didn't adhere to it the way I wanted to, but I definitely did more with my fitness this year than I ever did previously. But it came, you know how much I hate this word. It came very easy to me
Mhm.
because I've done this in the past. So it was just like getting back to a familiar routine, and I used an app that made it quite simple. So I think that challenge stopped being a challenge after like 45 days. It was like, "Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
yep, I get this back in the flow." It was like picking up an instrument and playing it again that you used to play all the time, and you're like, "Oh, I just gotta practice a little. Oh, yeah, I know how to play this," and then you do it without thinking.
Right.
So usually my project throughout the year, my projects are always personal, but all my personal stuff dovetails over to my revenue generation and businesses and, entrepreneurship. They usually, bleed over to that anyway. But this year there wasn't much of that. There wasn't
Mhm.
much like, all right, I'm going to challenge myself with a project throughout the year or pay attention um, pay attention very intensely to a specific thing on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis. So I didn't
Mhm.
do that this year either. It's been a very strange year, man. And here's the other thing. I'm not certain about the years to come.
Mm.
I'm interested in it. I'm I'm committed to it.
Right.
And maybe I'd like to believe I'm committed to it. I think that's to be determined if I'm truly committed to it. That may be some of the melancholy right now as well, is that
Right.
we have these great ideas, and I've learned over the course of my life that the planning phase of anything is the best part, right?
Right.
You didn't have to put the work in. You're excited about the journey. You're excited about the results, and it all seems good and looks good until you actually start doing it.
Mhm.
So it's okay. Are you really gonna do all these things? Are you really committed to it, or are you just interested in it and it sounds good and the results would be good and all these things? Because the way we've organized what we're going to be doing next year is a lot more rigid than I've ever had in my life as well. It's a lot more commitment to time of tasks and not that freedom. And the majority, of 25 years of me doing this, about half of it, a little more than half, has been very free in my career, meaning I can pick and choose how each one of my days go based on either opportunity, how I feel, what I'm motivated to do. Where now this one is more like my corporate world,
Mhm.
where it's like, okay, here's the time frames you're going to do the things from here to here. You're going to do it, and that's kind of it. So that's an interesting thing too. So I don't know, like I don't know if I'm truly committed to it. It just sounds like that would be the right way to do this, and the ability to consistently carry that out without wanting to change it. That's the hard part. Is like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and this makes sense, but will it make sense as we execute on it?
Right.
Which
Right.
still is up in the air.
Yep. Well, I think that's why it's good that we look at things in 90-day intervals to start with, right? Like, but we kinda did a little different this year with our planning. We're kinda looking at the whole year, kinda looking at what the goal is. The goal is to get us to that 28 clients consistently, and that's the goal. That's the objective, and whatever it takes is what I think we've committed to. I mean, I'm committed to building the networking, doing more of the master CEO masterminds slash super groups, and
Yeah, but the 28 clients are not the hard part, right? Because I mean, we've done that before, and we could do it again, and we could. That's just simple. The difficult part is the right 28 clients. And
correct.
that's what we've realized over the course of this year, is that there is a very specific human being we want to spend our time with and then
Mhm.
ask them to give us money to spend time with them.
Right.
That's the different thing. And that's the thing that took quite some time for you and I to be shown that no, 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 these are the types of people. This is the type of stuff you want to be doing. And it's not there's no there's no way to go just say, all right, here are these people and we're going to go talk to them. And there's a lot of relationship building that comes into understanding, is this even a person I'd want to really help on their journey
Mhm.
and spend an immense amount of time with? We spend somewhere in the neighborhood of, you know, 40 to 60 hours with a client in a year.
Yes.
And then we spend another probably 15 to 20 hours a year behind the scenes thinking about those people and talking about those people, you and I.
Mhm.
That's a crazy amount of investment
Yes.
into one person.
Person.
And that's what we've realized is to choose, okay, this is who I'm gonna invest that time with because most of our clients decide to continue with us for a very long term,
Mhm.
you know, until which we've had over the course of this year. We're like, hey, we just don't want to work together anymore.
Right.
And it's like, huh. So that's the other thing. It's you talked about that's why we do things in 90-day increments. But if you recall, we do things in 90 days to test them. And then once we are like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, we agree to a year.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the place we're at now. We've agreed like, okay, the next year, 2026,
Mhm.
this is what we're doing. So I know you were a little like surprised. Oh, this is the first time we planned for a year, but it's
Yeah.
because we've never gotten to the end of 90 days and be like, this is what we're going to do for a year. And now we are up against that. We're like, okay, this is what we're going to
Right.
do for the next year.
Yeah.
So this is the first time you and I have said, okay, this is the year long commitment. We've done year long commitments with things like this year. We did the newsletter for a
Yeah.
whole year. The first year we were together, we did the podcast.
Right.
We've done those things. We decided, all right, we're going to do Instagram posts. And then we went, all right, we're going to do LinkedIn. So we've done year long commitments,
Correct.
but not to our overall business. We've done things inside of our business that like, oh, we'll commit to this for a year. We'll commit to doing ads for a year. We'll commit to,
Mhm.
moving everything onto a CRM for a year. Whatever these things are, we'll commit to an assistant, a
Right.
in-person assistant for a year. We've done those things, but we've never said the entire business, this is what we're committing for the next
For
year.
yeah.
So that means that underneath the hood of the business, all those other things are being committed to as well.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we've had, if you look at a car, we've committed to different parts of the car for a year.
Yeah.
Now we're like, we're buying this whole
Car.
car and we're going to have this car for the next year.
Yeah. That's the change. That's the difference. That's the difference. But I think without the last several years, we would not have gotten to that point to be able to just say, "Hey, we're buying the car," you know? And that's what that's what excites me for this year. Like,
Well, I'm not excited at all, my friend.
see, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Do you think it's a challenge? I don't.
See,
Honestly,
I think it's
what
gonna
part is a
be
challenge for you?
I think the challenge is gonna be staying committed to that thing, that one thing that we've said we were gonna do,
Okay.
and not deviate from that thing. Like,
I like that
that's
perspective.
gonna be a
Okay.
challenge.
I'll agree with you on that. That is a challenge. Good. Okay.
That's the challenge because our restless saboteurs will come into play. Both of
Mhm.
us get restless at times, and I think it's gonna be like, if we're working on we've never worked on anything together in the past, like, for a year commitment for the new year. I think mitigating our restless saboteurs is gonna be part of that challenge this year, you know?
Explain to the folks
Yeah,
listening, what
so
is the
the
restless
restless
saboteur?
saboteurs is like, "Okay, this is not going the way I thought it would go, so I wanna jump over here because this thing looks better. Oh, no, you know what? That thing over there looks better than this." It's kinda like shiny object syndrome, right? You keep bouncing from one thing to the other thinking that it's gonna be better, and I feel like we've done a lot of restless stuff over the last several years where we were like, "Oh, yeah, let's try that, and we'll do it for 90 days, and we'll do it," and "Oh, no, that wasn't great. Let's go do this thing because this thing," like, and we never stayed for a longer commitment, and now we're committing to this, "Okay, this is what we decided. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna make it work, and it's gonna go." And that's gonna be the whole foundation. And this year is a big, big year. I mean, this is our 4th full we're entering our 4th year together.
20, yeah, we started in 22.
Yeah, so this is our 4th year. So this is a make or break year, I think. This is gonna show us what the business really is, and we'll be in a I think we're gonna be in a great place at the end of this year. But the challenge will be mitigating that restlessness.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We're in a great place now, right? It's
Yeah,
not
well, true. Absolutely.
but and that's part of it. It's like, okay, so what is the next great place and what's driving you and what's motivating you to do these things?
Yeah.
And that's even why I know before you said we're working on like two things. To me, it's like six things. It's like six big things that we're we've committed to this year, which, it's our networking things that we do through our super groups and our 3Q. It's those in person, being in rooms with people, right? That
Yep.
type of networking, like face to face, belly to belly, eye to eye, shaking hands, hugging people, that kind of networking that people we
Right.
know, love, like, trust, that,
Mhm.
right? So it's networking, it's our coaching, of course. It's the whole real estate. Tom and I
Yep.
are a part of something called Future Gen Real Estate Investments. So it's that. It's the helping people with their financial lives. The it's the content that we're doing, podcast, newsletter,
Mhm.
social media, and
Yep.
then it's the brand, our CEO brand. Tom's wearing it, I'm wearing it. The
Yep.
CEO brand. It's those are the six things that I really feel like we've decided, okay, we're going to stay in these lanes. We're going to work through these things through the course of the year. So any one of those, I don't feel like we have to alter them or change them. We have to stay the course and work it
Right.
through. But I
Right.
believe there's six things. You and I decided there's like two main places we're going to spend our time.
Right.
But that was more under the coaching umbrella,
Mm.
right? But we still have these six places we're
True.
spending our time, or our energy or our thoughts and all of that.
Yep.
And each one of them I've made at least I personally have made a commitment, like, okay, I'm gonna stay in that lane for all of 2026. Like, when it comes to the networking stuff, I'm not I've been, historically, I've always looked for, novelty in networking. I've had my own thing, and then I've looked for novelty outside to keep me kind of excited and learning. And this year we've decided, like, there's not going to be, we're just going to stay in our own bubble,
Right.
and it's like, okay, so novelty will come from inside of that. And we've built it in with having our members who are part of that. They always bring a guest. So we're meeting new people.
Yes. Yep.
Right. So there's novelty built into that, but then the structure will stay the same. The environments, we've committed to the whole year. I mean, we have all our dates, all our restaurants booked and everything. It's like the whole year is scheduled.
Yep.
So things like that, it's like, okay, I've committed to, like, all right, this is the course of action for the whole year to each of these things. The real estate investment, we're married to them.
Yep.
It's like, this is it. We're buying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of properties in Tennessee. It's like,
Yep.
okay, this is what we're doing.
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, and then we've decided, like, okay, this is the brand. And once we are like, we're really going to push it out there as a brand,
Yeah.
you can't go backwards. Like, if we're
Nope.
going to say, all right, we're going to tell the world there's this brand, the CEO brand, which,
Mhm.
by the way, for listening, is separate from Atomic Business Coaching. It's very useful in Atomic Business Coaching, but we feel there's a movement in the world. CEO isn't chief executive officer; it's commitment, effort, obsession. And what Tom and I have been lucky enough to find, and we found it through our sons a lot, that we looked at
Yeah.
our sons in sports, and they have commitment, effort, obsession. Tom's son to baseball and my son to football, both of them to working out, both of them to being disciplined. It's like, wow, we look at that, and they are living our brand. It's
Yes,
it's
they are.
wonderful from, like, an athletic standpoint and a young man standpoint. And Tom and I are living that brand through a business standpoint. And we're like, holy shit, like, this truly is a movement that we can embrace and help people to move forward and do whatever it is. I don't care if you're the PTA mom, you could have commitment, effort, and obsession to being the
Mhm.
greatest PTA on the planet. Like, so we're now agreeing, like, okay, that's a separate thing. It's not just a cool thing that we talk about and we
Right.
wear and we share with our clients. It's like, no, we're going to push that
Right.
outside the walls of our business into society.
Mhm.
But once you do it, you kind of have to leave the brand alone for at least a decade,
Right.
right? It's like, so that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like, these things are commitments. The real estate tenant, that is a commitment. That's where we're doing it. The networking style, that's a commitment. Even down to our coaching, like, we've committed, like, we're doing this one big thing,
Right.
and we start everybody in the first phase, and that's it. We're not gonna add new things.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
the content, like our YouTube channel, if you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, well, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. We appreciate it. But the YouTube channel is exclusively Be the CEO podcast. That's it. We're not
That's it.
putting our other content out there. This is it. We're not exploring, we're not changing, we're not adapting. It is what it is. If it's successful or it's just lives there,
Mhm.
that's it. We're not tweaking it based on what the algorithm wants and what the people say they need. And this, we've committed. And that's the thing, is making that, like, set in stone for the next year. Here it is.
Right.
Whew. It's not exciting.
No, you're not excited. I know. It's listen, it's a lot of commitment and it's a lot of effort that we're gonna put into it. But the obsession, I
But
think,
are we
is
obsessed?
that's the question. I'm 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 definitely obsessed with the networking piece. I'm obsessed with getting keeping the coaching piece, but I really love our brand. And I think you designed a really cool image for our brand, and we'll start to make that more available to people. But oh, it's right there on the wall. Look at that. There it is, CEO.
That's
So,
just I drew it real quick today, but yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing. Like, it's not excitement. It's the feeling of progress that keeps me motivated. Right? It's the progress. Like you mentioned, the boys, our sons have made such tremendous progress since August of 2024. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, they both started that same
yeah,
time. How
they
funny is
both
that? They
started,
both started.
right? So think about it. They
We'll give it
started
let's give a
August
little shout out to 8 Well and,
and to LIMNT, which is Long Island
LIMNT.
Medical Nutrition Therapy, which is
Yeah.
Nick
By the
Valenti.
way, let's put links to them in the show notes here. So 8 Well and then LIMNT. Let's because
Yeah.
we both committed to them back in August of
24.
2024, and our sons have been on that journey since, and they're both holy shit today.
Yep. Holy shit. I mean, look at Tyler. Tyler was, he was. I mean, he's grown, but Jesus, he's 240 pounds. Like, but
Yeah.
he's not fat 240. He is solid 240. I want to be very clear about that. Like, he went from this kid who was a little chubby and chunky, and he's now this kid who's solid and looks like. I mean, for 14, he looks like a full grown man, but
Yeah.
but that's, but he focused on the nutrition. He's been working out. He's become obsessed with that. Like our boys have reinvigorated. They live our CEO mindset, like you said,
Well,
every
I
single
think
day.
both of their mindsets led to their physical abilities, and that's what I love about it is they
Hmm.
both committed to what their obsession was, and then they put that effort in. But the thing was, it wasn't about just doing the work. It wasn't about Andrew just showing up for fitness and learning
Hmm.
his skills better and getting his velo up and all those things. And it wasn't just Tyler learning football better and getting stronger. It was the mental ability to commit to these things and be able to fight through like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And man, those boys they're impressive young men,
Yep.
and it's funny because a lot of people have said to me, well, of course they're your kids,
Yeah, but
but it's not, of course, man. It's a
no.
lot of work on their part. Yeah, Tom and I put a tremendous amount of work into our sons, our daughters, and our wives as well. But the boys, it's a physical thing,
Yep.
and we put a lot of work into them. But I think Tom and I both do this, and I hope I'm not speaking for you, but I think we both do this because we see that they're willing to match that effort, if not exceed it.
Correct. No, yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be investing in it if they weren't doing it. That's for sure. I mean, but Andrew has gone 50. He's gained 51 pounds since that last week of August in 24. I mean, 51 pounds is no, it was not. And this is a kid that did not like to eat. This is a kid that was very picky as an eater, but he knew if he was going to have a shot at playing at the Division 1 level, he was going to have to get to 185, 190 pounds. And he is at 185 pounds. He's got 5 more pounds he wants to put on and then maintain and work on how that weight is now impacting him. So he sees the next step, right? That's the other thing. Like both of them have gotten to these points and they see what's next. They see what they have. And and you know what? They have certainty. They have agency
Mm,
and certainty. The two things we give our clients is the
yeah.
power to act on stuff and to be very decisive and have that certainty in their decisions. And they have both demonstrated that because they know exactly what they need to do next. They know what's important. And it's come through the evolution of their physical changes, but they know exactly what needs to happen next. And that's what it's amazing. We have indirectly coached our sons the same way we coach
Mhm.
our clients.
Yeah.
Like,
No, absolutely.
so it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, but that's why the brand is like here now we're like, okay, we're gonna show the rest of the world it now, and it's like and we have we're optimistic about it, and it would be lovely if it blew up into a giant brand. But for me, I'm just happy that somebody else outside of we're coaching them in business, or they're our direct family and friends. I'm happy that someone else could maybe use this as
Mhm.
their mission, use this as their mantra, use this as their motto, and they're like, okay, this is the way we're going to move
Yep.
forward in our pursuits of whatever it is that they are pursuing. Because man, when you do it that way, when you give commitment, effort, and obsession to something, you really can't stop it. It's going to be successful. Everyone's going to have a different time frame, but man, are you going to have success?
Amen.
All right, everyone.
Alright, Merry Christmas.
I hope you can use this to reflect a little on your 25 and be a little bit more certain about what you're going to do in your 2026. See ya.